Trump does not care about border security. He only cares about himself. And when I am president, I will work to actually solve the problem.
This is real? Is this real?
Yeah.
So here is my pledge to you. Donald.
She says
it's so absurd. It's so absurd.
Hold on. She's the border czar. You're the emperor of the border.
I know she was. Kamala Harris and the Democrats are doing their absolute best to make the case for them being the better candidate than Donald Trump ever since Joe Biden obviously has dropped out of the race. People like Patrick Bet-David and like Tim Pool and like many others who have any sort of common sense and a functioning brain are able to see through certain things that are, you know, lies and hypocrisy in this astroturf. Very astroturf is the word I like to use for this Kamala Harris campaign. It seems like that this campaign that is once again very astroturfed seems to be faking and fooling a lot of people into thinking that Kamala Harris could possibly be the better candidate. And it's a lot of fake support that's happening on social media. And, you know, I said this in the last video that we did on this situation, but it doesn't matter how fake the support is for Kamala Harris. People are sheep. Most people, 90% of people are sheep out there. So they see support, whether it's fake or not. They're not looking into it. They're not trying to decipher if it's fake support or not. They're just seeing there is support, whether it's fake or not. And they're going to fall in line because they are sheep. Patrick Bet-David is calling these people out and exposing the fact that Kamala Harris is one of the worst candidates for president of America of all time. Let's get into this video here from the Valuetainment YouTube channel of Patrick Bet-David going in on Kamala Harris, talking about her gaslighting America and making bizarre border claims. Let's check this out.
And how amazing of a VP was. And this is mainstream media pre her being the presidential candidate. Go ahead, Rob.
Reports that say that you have the lowest approval rating of any vice president.
Well, there are polls that also say I have great approval ratings.
Swing voters don't like Harris. How big a drag is Kamala Harris on the ticket?
She's a pretty big drag. I think she was arguably Biden's worst political decision.
They don't like her. There's lots of reasons they don't like her.
Kamala Harris's approval rating is now at 28%, which is an historic low for any modern vice president.
We're hearing it from mainstream media, one outlet after another, one leak after another. That Kamala Harris is the worst vice president ever, the worst politician ever.
We don't see the vice president. What people are saying to me, and I'm sure they're saying it to you, where's the vice president? Some White House officials are feeling that she came off looking unprepared for inevitable questions about when she might visit the southern border.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
The point that Lester Holt was making was obvious.
Yeah, you are the border czar. You are the person who Joe Biden appointed to look after and control the border. And then look at what happened. Like, arguably, there's been a lot of bad things that came out of Joe Biden's presidency, you know, but arguably the border one might be the worst atrocity, the worst travesty of all of them. And there's a lot of them. You know, there's the crime issues, there's the inflation issues, there's a ton of problems. That's just domestic, not even considering what's happening around the world ever since Joe Biden took office. And the border might be the worst of all of them. And Kamala Harris is in charge of exactly that.
To anyone else who was watching this interview, which is that the issues at the border are inextricably linked with the portfolio that she's been given.
The border is secure. We have a secure border. Bidenomics is working. Prices have gone up. And families and individuals are dealing with the realities of.
There are reports that say that you have the lowest.
But by the way, did you see the video of what she said, Rob? I don't know if you guys saw this or not. What she said yesterday. She said, Trump's the reason the border is problematic, but if you vote for me, I will fix the border.
She didn't say that.
Are you guys joking? You didn't see this?
No.
Tell me you're joking. Hang on.
Water.
Rob, do me a favor and play this clip. This is what she just said, and let me see exactly when it was. 7:30. 7:30 is what? 2 days ago. She just said this. When you see this clip, Your angry patriot side's about to come out.
I
so
think
just watch it.
I still think you're absolutely.
I'm telling you,
trolling.
watch this.
We're
Go
about
ahead.
to sell some shirts.
Watch this.
Democrats do this all the time. I'm sure Republicans do it too, but it does seem like Democrats do it a whole lot more often than Republicans do, where they just straight up lie. Like they'll straight up lie to their voters and say things like this. Joe Biden did this during the debate with Donald Trump too, where he was like, if you elect me, I will reverse the abortion ban that Donald Trump put in place. It's like, my guy, you're president right now. You can do that right now if you really wanted to. Why are you saying we have to re-elect you in order for you to do that? If the Democrats want that so bad, well, they elected you for a reason. Go ahead and carry out their wishes. But you're not doing that. You're not doing anything. You're just wanting to get reelected. You just want to stay in power. They say whatever. And it works. It works on Democratic voters.
Hang on. Watch. No, rewind.
Okay,
I want him to hear. Tom, say nothing, Tom. Just listen. Go ahead.
Donald Trump does not care about border security. He only cares about himself. And when I am president, I will work to actually solve the problem.
This is real? Is this real?
Yeah.
So here is my pledge to you. Donald.
She says
it's so absurd. It's so absurd.
Hold on. She's the border czar. You're the emperor of the border.
No, she wasn't. She was not the border czar. She was never the border czar.
Yeah, yes,
the media has been doing that for a week.
I still think, by the way, it's sad that I have to look to make sure this isn't AI generated, but none of our people believe that. There's no way you believe that.
Look, the media is gaslighting, and the media is carrying water for her. I keep saying it, and over again. And guess what? What did Hillary do over and over again? Pick an issue, accuse the other person of what you're doing, and take credit for the fix.
Exactly. You know who said that? Do you know who said that a long time ago?
Pelosi?
Rob, I want you to pull this up.
Was it the Schmier?
No.
Let him go.
I'm going to show you who said exactly what Tom just said. Said that a long time ago, Rob. Post that quote up there. Post that quote up there. This is, zoom in. Accuse the other side of that which you are guilty. Joseph Goebbels, Nazi propaganda minister.
Oh boy! Well, so great playbook.
They're saying that the other side, Trump is the reason for messing up the border. And by the way, this is all you have to ask yourself: how many people will that work on?
Oh, not so many.
No, hear me out. No, hear me out. It's actually very important.
Well, they're not even just blaming the border on Trump, by the way. They're also blaming the economy on Trump. And everything is Trump's fault, right? Basically, Trump is the problem, the reason for all of our problems in the world, not even just in America. Somehow they find a way to blame Donald Trump for it. Literally everything.
To ask this question.
It's huge.
The amount of people, like right there, the people that she's talking to, how many people, no matter what she says, will sit there and say she's right? How many people
in that audience? In Atlanta,
42 to 44%. The core.
No. The audience in Atlanta,
85, 90.
I'm going to say even more than that, right? That's going to believe her. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But go to the people who are the audience that the vote matters to. How many of them, of the independents, who are educated people who have watched what she's done, who are Democrats, will sit there and say, listen, honey, we're going to vote for her, but she's so full of shit.
Yeah.
How many people will say that? How many people actually sitting there saying, what's she talking about? Everybody knows you're the reason why the border sucks. What do you think, Tom?
Well, I tell you, I have facts behind this, not opinion. What's very interesting in the polling bounce, I've been doing research on polling bounce, and in Arizona, when they started asking people, what are your top 3 issues? All of them, independent.
If you enjoy content like this, to make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
Democrat, Republican, Arizona had the same 3 issues in the same order: immigration, economy, women's rights, in the same order. Why? Immigration, number 1. The intensity of the response from all voters in Arizona on immigration was like at an 8 out of 10 on the intensity scale. Why? It's live, living, and it's in their front yard. You don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican to see the homeless people and to see the immigrants walking around and making you not feel safe in Arizona. You see that? So it's number 1 for all voters in Arizona saying, hey, this is messed up. We can't have this. Doesn't matter political party. Now you go to Missouri. Guess what the intensity level was? The intensity level was like 2.5 to 3. Why? Because immigrants aren't going around Missouri, and it becomes a theoretical argument between me, a Democrat, let's say, and you, a Republican. We're just yelling and screaming at each other. So what has happened? There are places, PBD, where it doesn't matter what she say. If she gave that speech in Arizona, everybody in the audience would say, dude, come on, Kamala, the immigration is a huge problem here. You're just talking. And they're not going to believe that. But that's just Arizona.
I agree that there's probably more people in Arizona that would care. I still think the vast majority of Americans don't really care about immigration or anything except for maybe inflation. A lot of people will probably care about inflation, which if they do, they would vote for Donald Trump. He's a businessman. He obviously prioritized the economy, and he's also said that. But I don't think the majority of people care about immigration. I don't think, unless things affect them directly, which I guess you could argue that immigration affects you directly, people aren't smart enough to see that, though. They're not smart enough to see that indirectly they are being affected by immigration, even though it doesn't feel direct to them. They don't really care. So what I'm trying to say is most people don't actually care about policy or anything like that. They just care about either, number one, memeing the left, owning the libs, whatever, if you're on the right, or number two, beating Donald Trump. As long as somebody wins that's not Donald Trump, they're cool with it. As long as their side wins, it doesn't matter how horrible the candidate is, they're cool with it. And then I think maybe 10 to possibly 15% of the country actually wants to vote for the person who is the best for the country and for the world, because the president of America does affect the rest of the world. It's a small amount of people. And I think those amount of people probably sway elections one way or another. So I'm not saying it's unimportant. I'm just saying these percentages that they're saying, I think it's a bit lower than what they're saying here. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about what Patrick Bet David had to say about Kamala Harris's just gaslighting and straight up just lies about Donald Trump and about her failures as vice president. What do you think about this whole Patrick Bet David versus Kamala Harris situation?